Tariffs are a blunt tool wielded by a man with famously small hands. The world reacted to Trump's tariff tornado the way you'd react to finding a spider in your underwear drawer, with sheer panic. Stock markets from Tokyo to Timbuktu went haywire. The Dow Jones, America's stock market measuring stick, plummeted faster than a toupee in a hurricane. Why the freakout? Investors, those skittish gazelles of the financial world, hate uncertainty. And Trump's tariffs? They were about as certain as a Trump promise to pay taxes. Nobody knew what would happen next, but they knew it wouldn't be pretty. Remember that Belgian chocolate bar? It's not just luxury goods feeling the heat. Cocoa, sugar, steel, aluminum, all caught in the tariff crossfire. Small businesses, the backbone of America, started feeling the pinch. Take Mary's Bakery in Milwaukee. Mary, a lovely woman who makes the best apple pie this side of the Mississippi, saw her sugar prices skyrocket. Suddenly her famous apple pies weren't so profitable. Thanks, tariffs. And what about iPhones, those ubiquitous slabs of glass and silicon? Well, initially they were slapped with tariffs too, but then, in a move surprising absolutely no one, Trump exempted them. Why? Because Apple, like many US companies, relies on a complex global supply chain. Tariffs on Chinese components would have made iPhones more expensive for Americans, and nobody wants to anger iPhone-addicted voters. Trump's tariffs weren't a solo act. Oh no. This was a full-blown trade war, and the rest of the world wasn't going to take it lying down. China, the target of Trump's most aggressive tariffs, retaliated with tariffs of their own. Soybeans, cars, machinery, anything America was selling to China got hit. Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, retaliated by targeting US farmers. The European Union, that bastion of bureaucracy and fine cheese, went after US steel mills. The message was clear. You want to play tariff roulette? We can play too. The result? Chaos. American businesses, already reeling from the initial tariffs, were now facing tariffs on their exports. Farmers, once reliable Republican voters, were staring down the barrel of bankruptcy. The trade war, like most wars, was turning out to be a terrible, terrible idea. Section 5, A Tariff Too Far. The Penguin Island Paradox. Trump's tariffs weren't just bad policy, they were also hilariously absurd. Take, for instance, the case of the Penguin Island tariffs. Yes, you read that right. Trump imposed tariffs on goods from uninhabited islands near Antarctica. Now, unless penguins have developed a taste for iPhones and are secretly running a massive trade surplus, these tariffs made absolutely no sense. It was like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline, utterly nonsensical and potentially catastrophic. Section 6. Echoes of the Past. Smoot-Hawley and the Great Depression. History, as they say, doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And the rhyme in this case was with the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. Back then, in the midst of the Great Depression, the US decided that tariffs were the answer to all their economic woes. Spoiler alert, they weren't. Instead, Smoot-Hawley exacerbated the Depression, leading to a global trade war and economic misery on a scale that would make even the most hardened Wall Street banker weep into their martini. Trump's tariffs, while not as immediately devastating as Smoot-Hawley, had economists shaking their heads and muttering about the dangers of protectionism. Were we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Only time would tell. Section 8. The experts weigh in, a global recession looms. So what did the experts think? Were Trump's tariffs a stroke of economic genius or a recipe for disaster? The answer, as with most things in economics, was, it's complicated.
Some argued that the tariffs, while disruptive in the short term, would ultimately lead to better trade deals for America.
Others predicted a global recession, with the US economy taking the brunt of the damage. Inflation, job losses, and economic uncertainty were just some of the potential consequences they foresaw.
The truth, as usual, probably lay somewhere in between. The trade war was a gamble, a high-stakes game of economic chicken with no clear winner, and the rest of the world was left to watch nervously as the two economic superpowers slugged it out.
Section 9. A call for calm trade, not trade wars. In the end, the only winners in a trade war are the politicians who get to posture and preen for their base. The real losers? Everyone else. Businesses, consumers, workers, all caught in the crossfire of economic nationalism. Instead of resorting to tariffs, those crude and often counterproductive tools of economic warfare, we need to return to the negotiating table. We need to find common ground, to build bridges instead of walls. We need trade, not trade wars. The future of the global economy depends on it.